And welcome back, and it is the Further Maths 5 a day for the 13th of May. Yesterday was not very nice, so I'm hoping today is a little bit nicer. Let's see what we've got today. Great, we've got Sir's question. I like Sir's questions. I know some people don't, but I do. It says, write 17 root 3 plus 5 root 5, 2 root 3 plus root 5 in the form. Oh, okay, it's not what I thought it was. Right, so it's basically a rationalising the denominator question, isn't it? In an exam, you get 1 mark for knowing what to do, which in this case is to multiply by 2 root 3. Don't have enough space. 2 root 3 minus root 5 over 2 root 3 minus root 5. In other words, I'm multiplying by 1, but I'm changing that 1 into something else. Now, really carefully, let's think about the top row. I'm going to do it over here. So 17 root 3 times 2 root 3 is 34. Root 3 times root 3 is 3. 17 root 3 minus root 5 is minus 17. Root 3 times root 5 is root 15. It's not nice. Then I've got 5 root 5 times 2 root 3 is 10 root 15. So plus, I'm going to have to go under here. So 10 root 15, not root 3. So 10 root 15. And then I've got 5 root 5 times minus root 5, which is minus 5 times 5, which is minus 25. Slightly messy, sorry, but got that in there in the end. Then the denominator. So that's going to be 2 times 2 root 3 times root 3, which is going to be 4 times 3. Now, because it's a difference of 2 squares, I don't care about the middle bits, I just care about the end bits. So root 5 times root 5 is 5, which is going to give me minus 5. Let's try and tidy this up. So on the top, I've got 34 times 3, which is 90, 102, minus 25, minus 17 root 15 plus 10 root 15 is minus 7 root 15. Wow. And then I'm dividing all that by 12 minus 5. Well, let's write down 12 minus 5 because I've got another step to go anyway. Okay, 102 minus 25 is 77. And then I'm taking away 7 root 15. And I'm dividing all that by 12 minus 5 is going to be 7. And it does cancel because in the back of my head, I've got this here and there's no denominator. So I'm hoping it cancelled nicely. It does indeed. So 77 divided by 7 is 11. 7 root 15 divided by 7 is just root 15. So my final answer is 11 minus root 15. Question done. Next question. Angle theta is obtuse. Now I'll come back to that. Cos theta is going to be, well, cos, so there's my angle, there's my right angle. Cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. Now because I know 5, 12, 13 triangle, this is going to be 12. In other words, 13 squared minus 5 squared, which means the value of sine theta is going to be 12 over 13. Now the next thing I need to think about, is it positive or negative? Now because it's obtuse, the definition of an obtuse angle is between 90 and 180. In other words, sine is always positive there, so therefore my fraction is positive. Question done, nice and straightforward. Next question looks a lot like a quadratic inequality, it does indeed. So I'm going to try and factorise this first. So usual approach. So it's definitely 3x and x. And then one of these is negative and one of these is positive. The question is, does the 3 go here or does the 3 go here? Well, because I know 8 is 9 minus 1, it's going to have to be 3 minus 3 minus 1, in other words, plus 3 minus 1, which tells me my critical values are a third and minus 3. Let's draw the thing. Okay, so that is minus 3 and that is a third. And then I want all values underneath, which means my answer is minus 3, 2x to a third. And that's it, almost. Just realised that's a less than equals to. The font is weird. So therefore that's also a less than equals to. That is now it. Question done. Next question. Okay, so the next question says, given that, and it gives 3 coordinates. Now, in your exam, don't spend ages sketching neatly, but I'm going to give it a quick sketch because it allows me to talk about it, because I think I know where this is going. So A is 2 across and 4 up, which I'm going to call there. B is 10 across and 0 up, so it's down here somewhere. And C is 3 across and 6 up, so it's here. The point is, this is not, I don't think, a right angle triangle. Actually, you know what? I think it might be a right angle triangle. And funnily enough, I'm going to say the opposite of what I just said. Now I've sketched it, I'm starting to wonder whether that's a right angle, or maybe I've sketched it badly and that's a right angle. So I'm actually going to check these. So the way I'm going to check it is I'm going to work out M, A and B. So if I work out the gradient from A to B, I'll go across, well, I'll go down 4 from A to B, and I go across 8. So that gives me minus a half. I'm going to work out the gradient of A to C. So A to C, I go across 1 and I go up 2. So it's 2 over 1, which is 2. These are negative reciprocal. So these, in fact, actually, I don't need to go any further, do I? These are perpendicular. So therefore, the area of my triangle is a half the height times the perpendicular base, which is going to be half of AB length times the length of A to C, which is going to be, so I mean, I still haven't got there. I'm still having to work some stuff out. Let's do it over here so I'm not squeezing in. So the length of A to B is going to be, well, that's going to be 8 and that's 4. So it's going to be the square root of 8 squared plus 4 squared, which is the square root of 80. And the length of, what am I doing? A to C is going to be, well, A to C, get rid of that. A to C is 1 across and 2 up, or it's a little bit easier this one, isn't it? So it's going to be 1 squared plus 2 squared, which is the square root of 5. Which means, still haven't got there, have we? Which means the area of my triangle is a half times 5 times root 80. Now, I think it's going to be a non-calculated question because I think I know what's going to happen next. I know this is the same as a half times root, well, 5 times 80 is 400. And the square root of 400, well, the square root of 4 is 2, and the square root of 100 is 10, and 2 times 10 is 20. So it's just going to be half of 20. And so all this working has got me to the number 10. That's a really nice question. It's a really well-designed, clever question. I like that question. Next and final question today. 2x minus 1 is a factor of this thing here. Now, because it's a factor of, I'm going to call this f of x because it makes it easier to say. That means that f of a half, in other words, I solved that bracket to 0, so x equals a half, is equal to 0. So that means 2 times a half cubed, which is an eighth, plus 9 times a half squared, which is a quarter, minus 53 times a half, which is 53 times a half, plus a is equal to 0. Let's tidy this up. So 2/8 is a quarter, 9 quarters is 9 quarters, and 53 over half is minus 53 over 2, plus a is equal to 0. This could be a non-calculated question, so make sure you're okay with this. So I'm going to convert the whole thing to quarters. This could be a non-calculated question, couldn't it? So it means that a is going to be 1 plus 9 minus 106, 53 times 2, divided by 4, is equal to minus a, because I've moved it to the other side. 1 plus 9 minus 106 is minus 96. So therefore, a is equal to minus 96, which is 96 over 4. Got there eventually, is equal to 24. It's another good day. It's these last 2 or 3 days have been much harder. I've really enjoyed the last 2 or 3 days. As ever, I don't know where that's going. As ever, let me know how it went for you. Do like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks all.